Hey everyone! So today I thought to myself, let me do a character modeling video for you guys. Since we already have a part 1, part 2 on how to rig an actual character, let's try to do an actual modeling course where you learn how to create a character from scratch. So the one we're going to be using today is going to be a scientist. So let me just pull it up here for you guys. There we go. So this is going to be the character we're going to be working on. Now, very important before you start is you have to see the resolution of the image, and that's important because we want to be able to put the reference on 3ds Max itself. So this image is a 1024 by 1024 resolution image. So to start with the character, first of all, you have to create a plane. So I have two images. I have a side view and a front view. Typically, you have to start with those. If you have a back view, it doesn't really help you that much, but always front and a side view to be able to get the depth and the width and the height of any single object you want to do with the character. So I got a plane here. I'm going to transform it into a 1024 by 1024. Okay, since my image is that big. And I'm going to get a square. Next, I have to press M on my keyboard to get the material rollout. And you don't have to have Arnold or V-Ray activated, doesn't really matter. Just have the standard material, the scanline material editor here. I go to my diffuse panel right here. It takes a bit of time for some reason, there we go. I go to my bitmap and I'm gonna grab the scientist full front and apply it to my texture. Make sure that you apply, assign material to selection, and then you click on show shaded material in viewport right here. And I have my character. So I need to rotate 90 degrees. Perfect. Make sure it is centered. Great. And I want the feet to be perfectly aligned with the floor. Fantastic. And move it back. Alright. Next I'm going to copy this. So shift click, rotate 90 degrees. Move it a bit to the side. And for this one I'm going to use a new material. So same principle, assign material to selection, diffuse, bitmap, and I'm going to get the side view itself. And as well show shaded material in viewport. So I have my left view right here. So if I press L and then F3, F4, I can see my side view. If I press F for my front view as well, F3, I can see my front view. So it's better if it's completely centered. Let's try to do the same for the left view. I want it to be, so this is the center line right here. Let me actually remove these length segments so you can see what I'm talking about. And let me remove the grid by pressing G. Perfect. I want it to be, can I imagine a center of gravity for the character? So it's supposed to be somewhere here. Should be alright. Great. And I have my front view. Also G so I can remove it. Now there's a problem that you're going to face first. The resolution is very bad. And the way you fix this is you have to actually change the resolution of the viewport itself. So you go to the top left corner right here, you have a plus. Press on the plus and go to configure viewport. And here you're going to have to adjust these textures. Alright, so first anti-aliasing all the way to high quality, very important. And here I'm going to go 2048, the one under it 2048, and viewport background environment as well 2048. Even though we're working with a 1024 image, just go a bit higher, it's not going to make any difference, but it's going to give you the best quality. And if I zoom in here, so look at the resolution right here, I press apply, say okay, it should be a little bit better. Doesn't seem like it did much of an effect. Weird, it's supposed to work. Seems that's not going to allow it that much, but it's not going to be a problem. We can actually use this without any issues. You just don't need that much detail, you just need a little bit just to be able to get the form correct. So let me make sure I did this here as well. Alright. So let's start. The way you start an actual character is quite simple. You have to do something called the loops. You have a few loops, so there's a lot of techniques around like to tell you how to actually create an actual character, which is you create a spline, you can start with a sphere, you can do a lot of things. What I prefer is the plane method, which is I create a plane and I actually design the eyes, the loop of the eyes first. I design the loop of the nose after, the mouth third, and then I can combine all of it together. Why do we create loops? Loops, in that sense, is something like this. So if I take a normal plane, increase, so I'm going to go 3, 3. There we go. Convert to edit poly. So what I'm going to do is just shape it into an eye, let's say. Just a little bit, just moving the vertices around. Create an eye. Let me just change the color so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. There we go, much better. There we go, so that's my eye. A loop is basically when you press your border right here in edit poly and you click on a border, it loops around. So if I shift click and scale, this is going to be my eye. And I'm going to delete all of this in the middle. And that's going to be the way I start my actual eye. So if I press 3 in the middle as a border, I'm able to loop this, pressing by taking a segment for an example and saying ring, it's able to loop. If I select one in the middle and I say loop, it's going to loop around. That's what I mean by loop. This is extremely important for animation, meaning that when the character is going to be rigged facial expressions between the mouth smiling or the nose, the wrinkles on the nose, the eyes opening and closing, and the cheekbones going up, these loops will allow it to happen. If a character does not have loops, it will not animate properly. So this is a crucial element inside of rigging or creating a character from scratch. So now that I have this principle done, we're going to apply it to the actual character. So one thing I want to do is, since I have these two references, let me just move this a bit to the side so I can see the full fingers. There we go. I want to lock these in so I don't have to move them anymore. So this one as well, I want 1, 1. Perfect. Grab both, right click, object properties. I want to freeze these, and I also want to remove show frozen in gray. And say okay. Now I can't touch them anymore. Perfect. So we have, the only thing we can touch is the space and the actual model we're going to be working on. Front view. What I'm going to do here is actually create the same exact thing I just did, which is a 3x3 plane, just like that. I want to be able to see them. Fantastic. And I'm going to shape this to the actual eye. Now, I don't mean the eye itself all around. I mean just the eyeball right here. Alright, so get this form correct on this specific area. So I go like this, go over to edit poly, and start shaping and moving the actual eye. Don't have to be too precise, just to get close enough to the reference and you'll be fine. So grab all of these on the bottom, move them down, move them to the side. This one we can move it here a bit. Just follow the flow of topology. What I mean by topology is every single square is a quad and the next one is a quad. So when they follow each other in a correct manner, meaning that I don't have something like this, if they follow each other like a circle or a line or just like a curve, that's a good topology. So they follow each other up. This one's a bit too high, so I'm going to drop it down. See, this is the eyelids here. Move this a bit to the side. Perfect. I'm going to grab my border tool, grab the border and scale up. And now I can start fixing this actual area. So delete all of the polygons in the middle. There we go, we have my eye. Move this a bit. Just keep tweaking. That's the point of creating characters. Just keep tweaking everything you see. Just make sure it follows the reference and have them in equal distances. And everything should fall together. This one's a bit too much here, so there we go. Right here. Great, fantastic right now. So we have our eye, we have the eye lid. Now we have to move to something else, which is the actual side view. I have my polygon, I go to my side view. So it's between front and side view. So this is where it is. I need it to be here. So I go all the way here. Let me remove the grid so you can see a little bit better. So it was here, I need to move it to the front view, to the side view, sorry, all the way to the front of the eye. So what do I know here? I know that these are going to stay on the top. I know that the bottom corner is going to go all the way here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is move these two. Let me just see my eye from the perspective view. So move them forward. Move these forward. Again. These vertices have to move a bit forward. These. along with the bottom. Sorry, I need to grab the edge right here, move it forward. Great, this one as well. Just a little bit. And that should be fine for now. And here we're going to start modifying everything else. So move it back. Alright. I want the corner of my eye right here. This little quad right there to go all the way back. And adjust. There we go. I can rotate it a little bit facing my way. This will help later on. I grab this segment, I move it all the way back. Move it down, make it fit. Same goes for this one. Back, down. So I want this to be a little bit higher. Corner of the eye. This one as well. Corner of the eye. I'm looking at this reference right here, this line that goes all the way here. So that's the one I'm using right now. This all the way here. This edge all the way here. Same. So I'm just looking at the eyeball. There we go. Move this up. This a bit further back. And just take your time doing this. The first few polygons you're going to be creating are the most crucial. So now I'm just contouring from the outside the entire eye. Making sure I keep my topology correct. Got this little corner right here. There we go, so my middle is still fine, and now these I can adjust them a little bit more. So it's a combination between left and front view. Whatever you do, just don't panic and just keep on working on the character itself. There we go. So this one is really far up, so I need to kind of move it a bit closer. This one right here. Keep it consistent, and this one needs to move a little bit up. There we go. So now the flow of topology is correct. Okay, now moving on. So I got that going for me. This is also as well very good. So what do I mean by loops? So let's talk about how I can adjust this. So I still have the eyelid over here. I can't forget that. It's a pretty big step here. And I need to create that using this exact form. I can't create a new object for it. It's going to be a single object. So what I'm going to do is start dividing this entire shape into multiple connections. So a ring, that's the loop right here. Connect a few. There we go. And now I can start modifying this a little bit better. So try to grab that here. You can add as many connections as you want, just don't go too crazy with the polygon count, that's all. Looking good. The top side is a little bit lopsided, so we're gonna just kind of move this a little bit forwards. Alright, that's a bit too many connections. Let me just remove a few. I'm gonna remove this one and this one. Just add one for now. So work low poly at first. Very important. Now, the nose. That's going to be a bit of an annoying part, but we're going to have to get through it. So I'm going to take this edge right here, connect once. There we go. Move this here to the center and scale it inwards. I scale it that way it's perfectly symmetrical. Alright? That way when I create a symmetry, so if I take this and I create an actual symmetry, and I move the mirror, sorry, I need to flip, and now move the mirror, there we go. And try to get it aligned to the best of your ability, right there. Alright, and now I can actually click on the symmetry. Edit poly, click on show end result on off toggle, and this will allow me to have the symmetry on top of it. Meaning if I move just one of them, just like that, both of them will move. It helps a lot. So here I just need to combine them just like that. Don't glue them together, just keep them the way they are. or just move these together. Great. So I have a center line now. And now I can start moving these correctly. So, first step, grab this edge and move it all the way to the front where the nose is. Just like that. Move the vertex back and create the actual shape of the nose. Next, this one that was next to it. Same thing, and take the vertex and move it backwards. Move this forwards. We're creating the small little bump that we have on the nose. Alright? Now, we're gonna grab this edge, and we're gonna start moving it towards the nose. Now, I do want to form the nose a little bit better first, so I can actually create the loop here, and then attach it to the other object. So I can take my plane right here, create a 1x1 plane, just like so. Convert that to poly, and I can just move it and rotate it a little bit here. Just like that. And move it to the side. Rotate it. There we go. Actually, I can start creating it from here. Let me see. Yep, that's the inside. Takes a bit of practice, but you're gonna get there. So I'm gonna grab the edge and I'm gonna start modeling the actual nose while rotating everything else. I do this so I can actually get the nostrils at some point, which is very important for me. So now these are going outside, I need them to start going in. So I check between both views, I grab this edge and start moving it inwards. Same goes for this one, inwards. It's a combination between left and right, nothing more. This one right here, and then the final one, which is this one, all the way there we go. And now I can adjust this a bit more. So this one goes a bit further back, this one as well. And this one has to be kind of in the center. So let me press G. There, okay, we can delete this one. There we go. Grab this vertex and move it forward. Always have a bend, it helps a lot. There we go. So now we're forming the actual nose itself. So these, I'm gonna just move them a bit forwards. There we go. So now I can start combining between the tip of the nose. So if you look at it, tip of the nose all the way to here. So let's do that. Let me grab the other polygon, editable poly, grab this one, and I'm gonna start just aligning the actual nose. So this vertex is really badly placed. I'm just gonna move it a bit. Perfect. And start moving the actual shape of the nose. This vertex right here. Forget about the other. It's just as a reference right now that we're going to be using. We can delete a few pieces and combine everything else together. I'm just trying to get the form right and make sure that the loop is correct. Very important. Alright, so let's see it from the front. Very good so far. So I have my angle, basically. You can see how it's bended, which is perfect. And we're going to start building off of that. So I want to make sure the loop goes correctly. So grab the actual polygon right here. if it will let me. Thank you. There we go. So move this, rotate it a little bit, and start shaping. There we go, and stop here. Sorry everyone, I had to take a small little pause. So, where were we? Alright, we were finishing the mouth all the way down. Okay, now I have to create the loop for the actual nose. Now there's a few ways you can do this. Let me just remove this. It was just for reference. Now, I can start with the nostril first. So let's look at the front view. Alright. Let me just zoom in here. There we go. Okay, so I can start with the actual nostril and build from there as well. So I have a nostril right here, and on the front view, we can see it right here. So first thing I want to do is remove, kind of scale down this entire thing right here. There we go. A little bit smaller. Just so I can see what I'm doing, and move it a little bit forward. There we go. Move these backwards. So right over here. Very good. Alright, so the nostril. I have one here, and I can just coordinate with this one. Same principle, you can actually create a plane, a 3x3 plane, just like so. Rotate it from here, so I have to move it like so, not too much, just enough. Perfect. Now, my front view and left view are not very symmetrical, it's okay, just try to get in between, like half-half. Alright, I'm gonna also convert to edit poly, move this here, try to make an actual circle out of this. Great. Take it and border number 3, shift click, delete all of these. Scale it down a bit and move these to the side. And scale it down. Alright, rotate it a little bit more. Let me see how it's facing that way. Great. Now I'm going to take this one, edit poly, and I'm going to attach this guy right here. And I should have perfect symmetry on both of them. So now we have our nostrils. Now, again, I'm going to grab them with 5, and I want to also rotate them a little bit down. Just like so. Because we're going to build the nose around it. So keep that in mind. Alright. Maybe that's a little bit too much, so let me just... Perfect. So let's leave them there, and we're going to start building the nose from there. So I'm going to grab this polygon right here, and start moving it downwards. So here what I'm going to do is try to create a loop. So move it down, rotate this a little bit, keep the form, right? So I have a curve going on here. So keep the form going. Don't focus on the middle part right here, focus on the outline first. Rotate a little bit, move forwards, and I'm going to grab these two, and I'm going to bridge, giving me this form. And now we move to the front view, so I want this quad right here to be like so. Next, this one. So I usually grab the edges. Why did I grab this quad specifically? It's just because I can get a reference on that side. That is pretty much it, just to get the dimensions right first. This segment right here, I'm gonna move it all the way here and rotate just a little bit. Just so I can keep the form of the nose going. So it goes like so. Okay, grab this one, move it all the way to the side, and definitely rotate it towards the actual shape. And I'm going to move this one right here. And now for the bottom piece, move it down. This one's a little bit too rough here, so I'm going to move it back in. So you don't have to have the reference anymore. I'm just moving as I see it fit, pretty much. Building a character is a lot of intuition. You just have to feel the way it's supposed to look. Doesn't have to be perfect to the reference itself. These are a little bit too big, so I'm gonna put them in. This one's okay where it is. This one is to move in a bit. This one out a bit. There we go. So I'm just creating that curve, right? Alright, pretty good so far. Let me just adjust a few things here. There we go. Okay, we'll leave it at that for now. So here I can start building a little bit more. So I can grab this edge, for example. So make sure that you notice the small little features. So this character has a kind of a line going here. So he has a cheekbone right here. That's really determined here. That's very important to have it. And then he has the entire top of the mouth, and then the entire shape of the character itself. So definitely keep that in mind. I'm going to start grabbing these, and you can start building on top of that. You can add two. Bridge. Here I can select this one. Bridge. I can cut. Sorry, add the poly. So the biggest mistake you don't want to happen is have an n-gon. That is a polygon, a quad with 5 sides. Never have that. Triangles are okay. Quads are definitely okay, and pentagons are definitely not okay. So here I can move this here, grab number 3 and cap. Great. I can even have a triangle if I want to here, it's no problem. We can fix all of that later on. But for now I'm actually fixing and starting to build the character. Very good. So now I have the foundation of what's happening. Let's move this a little bit more inwards. There we go. So here, how can I fix it? I can do a few things here. Let me just delete these first and try to fix it before we continue. So here I could reform this actual polygon right here. Let me delete it. Grab this here. No, we're gonna cut this in half. Bring, connect, cut it in half. I want one right here. That's a bridge. Normal bridge without a segment, and this one is another one. And we kept the bridge and the quads perfectly symmetrical without any problems. Great. Now for the mouth. So same principle, I need to create a loop. Has to go from here all the way down, all the way here. Alright? So start moving. I actually need to drop this down a little bit here. Options, enable constraint, it's on. There we go. Make sure it's somewhat precise. Perfect. And now start building on the actual mouth. 2, 3, 4. Start rotating slowly, because we're going to start going down here. And at the corner of the mouth, I just want it to have a perfect 90 degree. So I can continue building on that. Scale this in so I can reform it. There we are. So corner of the mouth has to go to the corner of the actual character. rotate it a little bit, grab the next one, and now we can start moving to the perspective side and start shaping things as we see them fit as well. Doesn't have to be perfect for now, just keep going and get them into position, and then we'll adjust everything else. Get a small one here, and this one. So here I'm going to start adjusting it a little bit more. I just want to have the head dimension kind of correct. A little bit further in. There we go. Yep, looks okay. Same thing on the bottom. So I'm not getting it as close as the top lip. I'm trying to get it a little bit behind. Move this one backwards a little bit. There we go. And I have the actual mouth. Now forget about the smiling or frowning part. This, we're going to do it later. Right now we're just trying to create the entire character first. So I have my loop, and I want to start creating the bottom. I have a small little chin here. Go all the way down. All the way to the chin. Perfect. This one goes all the way here. There we go. Starting to look pretty decent right now. So the ear, we're going to do it later. You can do it as a separate object or itself, like you can actually create it from the shape itself. So we're going to look at different techniques, but for now we're just going to continue on this formation first. So right now I can actually create the contour for the head. So we're going to grab this one right here. There we go. Now that we don't have a top view, you have to kind of be careful here. Just try to get the actual shape of a skull going on, right? So try your best. To get an oval going on. It's a little bit thin in the back, so I'm going to extend this a little bit more to around here. And have everything follow it as well. There we go. Alright. Next, we're going to close this up. So it's a very big quad here, so I need to divide this a little bit. Ring, I'm going to create one connection. That's a little bit better. Alright. make sure I can weld all of these together. There we go. Grabbing this first segment right there, and then we're going to start building just the actual head for now. I make it big polygon so I can adjust as much as I want later on. I can just connect them later on without any issues. There we go. Grab this, connect a few times. There we go. Just so I can move them a little bit better. What I'm going to do is actually target weld this. There we go. And move this up. Alright. Next I want to get the ear. So this is a part of the ear right now. I'm just going to keep it this way. I'm just creating the formation for the ear first, and now this is going to go a little bit higher. So I'm going to be creating polygons over here to create the ear. So this one is going to go upwards. So now I go to my front view. And this one's going to be the rest of the skull. There we go. Let me see if it connects somewhere here. It will not. So what we're going to do is divide this into two. So ring, divide it into two. And take this segment. So basically creating a character is all about modifying as you're actually modeling. One, two, I need half. This one's here. Here, and I'm just going to chamfer this edge right here. There we go. You, target weld, left, you to you, this one here, and there we go. So now we have kind of the formation of the skull. Now it's a little bit bended. So just move these a bit inwards. There we go, much better. So hopefully you'll follow me for this tutorial. I'm done with the part 1. Part 2 I'm going to pretty much finish the entire face as much as possible, and then part 3 and 4 will be the body, the clothing, and all of that together. So really hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for following, and if you like the videos, please subscribe, like the video, and comment. And I'll definitely get back to you if you have a special request for a video or anything you need. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.